Good evening, sports fans. We're live for another Sports Rewind Digital. I am joined by BJ tonight. Davo is on the bench. Got a few things on in the Davo household. I think it's a birthday this week and next week. I think his eldest is in the under-15s New South Wales team or something, Randall, for cricket. So
yeah,
massive news there, and he'll be out and about with that. So just
congratulations. It's good stuff.
It is.
Yeah, throw the happy birthday out there while we're here. I'm sure Davo's listening anyway.
I'm sure he is. Sure is. Hey, we've got a good one tonight. Luke Wlson from RP Performance, now Rotational Performance. This is going to be a really good one for those that have young kids up and coming in any sports, but also us old fellas. I think we're going to get a few tips, Randall, on how we might be able to add 2 or 3 miles to our fastball. Do you even have fastball?
No, mate. No, there's no fastball.
You know, I think Luke's got a few exercises for you later, mate, and he's going to sort you out with a few different. No, they're not arm curls tonight, mate. What about
unless there's alcohol in that recovery, like dirty waters?
No alcohol, mate. At least you're drinking some water. What about the sports for you guys over the weekend? Did the boys are done, are they?
They're done and dusted, mate, yeah. Grand final the week before down on the coast. Unfortunately got a hiding. Poor old Rebels. Excuse me. But, yeah, we're now gearing up to head into our winter season. So, Mighty Toronto Tigers will be going strong, as always. So, I think training kicks off tomorrow night. So,
lovely. All those I've got the notifications about training, mate.
All those 3 or 4 listeners out there that are actually listening, make sure you get into training.
Yeah, beauty. Righto, let's get Luke on, mate, and he can tell us all about what he's doing down there in the Shire and what he can do for those that want to achieve peak performance. So let's get him on. Luke, welcome, mate.
Thanks, fellas. How are we?
Very well, mate. Tell us, what do you do there at RP Performance?
So RP Performance came about out of the background of work in the physio clinic, and unfortunately the number of players, particularly baseballers, being seen with arm issues, lower backs and whatnot, and a lot of the things that we have to correct within that as part of the rehab process and the rebuild to get back to playing and playing well are things that if we do them before someone's hurt, the performance improves. So, you know, it just became a point of let's just get out and front foot this a bit more. Obviously, places like Driveline and Tread and whatnot in the US are big dogs there, but you know, we do sport or sports development and sports science really well in Australia. And for myself, having worked in the NRL for almost a decade, I've been around some of the best coaches in that regard. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing now is applying the best of the US and the best of Australia and trying to come up with a different spin on it a little bit, but yeah, keep our young players and older players injury free, but also getting better. Yeah,
no, it's awesome, mate. I know, you know, growing up as a kid, we had not a great deal of strength and conditioning sort of stuff to do. You're told, you know, pitchers after they pitch, they go and run poles and put ice on it. Away you go. See you next week, sort of thing. But now you're seeing kids with, you know, weighted ball programs and TheraBands and different resistance bands and exercises and stretching and hip exercises and all the different things. And it's great to see. Great to see that in Australia, and it's continuing. I guess for us, what are some of the differences now if we go back and say in those 80s and 90s if I pitched, I ran 10 poles and then had ice on my arm for half an hour. What's the sort of recovery like now? What would somebody do if they just pitched 6 innings of baseball?
I still think the icing aspect is valuable at times. Any form of exercise is creating a stress and an inflammatory response on the tissues, and your body can't determine, oh yeah, that's 60% fatigued or damaged or whatever, or 50% or 100%. It just kind of goes, damn, something's wrong, all guns blazing to heal it. And that's why we would ice or compress an injury or elevate it or whatever, is to just try and control that inflammatory response a bit. Because if you've ever sprained an ankle and it just gets big and fat and swollen and out of control, and then you really can't do anything, and then you kind of just got to wait it out a little bit. So if we front foot those things a bit, we still get inflammation and healing happening, but not the excessive pain and discomfort. And that means that then we can get back to baseline sooner. That's what recovery is getting back to what you were before you went out and pitched 6 innings. So the amount of motion in your shoulder and in your trunk and in your hips and everything like that, and then putting your food in to get the energy systems back to what they were, and sleeping to help the body overall recover. Because particularly if you're a reliever and you say you're playing in the ABL and you throw Friday night, and you're probably going to throw again at some point on the weekend. So we can't have you empty the tank Friday night and then only be 20% of your best on Saturday or Sunday. You're just not worth anything to the team then. So there's still method to, or there's still value to a lot of those methods. I'm not a huge fan of the running poles and whatnot. The thinking previously was, especially in the heat, playing baseball in the summer and whatnot, that if you have a good fit cardiovascular system, you will recover quicker from all of that stress. I think there's enough time, even with the pitch clock at the big league level, I still think there's enough time for the specific energy systems that you use to throw a hard pitch to recover, to go again. And I think if we train up at those intensities regularly, then you get used to being at that intensity, so then you recover quicker. Running poles is slow and steady, and to throw at 100 miles an hour is anything but. So it's not something to completely throw out with the bathwater, so to speak, but it's not something that I believe is as conducive for most pitchers or hitters or whatever the case is.
I think you might have read Randall's bio with that ankle injury you talked about earlier, because I think he's had one for about 7 years now, isn't it, Randall?
Close to. But I think what I'm hearing there is my recovery of half a carton backed up by no sleep and just another night out on the town probably wasn't really good.
Well, look, there's some positives to that strategy. You know, half a carton, like as long as it's cold, then you're icing from the inside out. So that can be positive. And getting out on the town, you're moving around and putting some weight through it. So you did do some things right. Probably the sleep was the one thing that got you there, mate.
Probably.
Hopefully not next
I'm
time.
loving watching a lot of the different strategies, I guess, behind the strength and conditioning now. I mean, we look back at, say, Trevor Bauer, 5, 6, 7 years ago, all the different funky things that he did in his trainings and also warm-ups before games. And that, I don't know what it's called, the shoulder thing that he does, that bends. I still remember seeing one of those like 15, 20 years ago up here. AOK Health had them. And
the body blade.
And a lot of tennis players use that back then. And then I seen Trevor Bauer with it like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago or whatever it was. I was like, wow, that thing's going over there, and then you see, all these different things that he's done, and different players now have their different routines. I guess these are becoming the normal now, whereas back then it was like, what is this guy doing? Because everyone's trying to get that little bit of edge, for their mobility or their stability or whatever it might be. I guess for you, mate, what's the main one right now working with kids? Is it working on that rotational strength in the trunk? Is it, mobility? What's the biggest thing at the moment that I guess you're working on with these young adults coming through for baseball?
Yeah, it's a combo of all of them, and we always try to assess everyone. It's an ongoing thing, week to week, session to session, whatever, but to try and make sure that we're being as individual as possible. But it's a bit of all of them. If you don't have enough mobility to get into those key positions, then you just can't get there. It doesn't matter how many times I stand there and scream at you to get into this position. If you can't physically go there, you can't physically go there. The strength is a big one. I think there's no one out there that's too strong. So you can always be stronger from there. What we're really focusing on now is strength in key positions for pitching or hitting or sprinting. So I try to think of it as a conversion phase, and this is where, for me, my background on the rehab side of things came to the front. Was if you've had an injury and you're super strong in the gym, you're squatting, you're bench pressing, you're doing whatever, but you can't convert that strength into something that means something on a field. So whether it's you're strong but you're not a fast runner, or you got massive chest and whatever, but you can't throw hard, or however it is, then your strength as an athlete doesn't really matter. So it's a tick box thing, firstly, of, okay, well, are they mobile enough? Do they have enough flexibility to get to the positions we want to? If not, okay, well, let's sort that out first. We're always trying to improve the strength of the system overall, and then it's the key components of rotational power, especially, can you take your strength onto the field? And as much as within pitching and hitting especially, there's so many individual differences. If you watch Bauer throw versus compared to Verlander, compared to Otani, compared to Chris Sale, they look completely different, and yet at key points through the delivery, they're very the same. And that's so, that's partly around keeping them healthy, and then partly around why they can perform at the level they do. So we build a program to address all of those things, and there's key things in all of that are consistent. So the key hip and shoulder separation, strength and timing and power is the same to throw as it is to hit. Just the angles can be a little bit different. It's the same to try and steal a base. And so if we just really focus our development on rotational athleticism with the younger groups, when they're still just learning and figuring it out, then when they've got the hang of that, they're stronger, they're a bit more powerful, then we can really refine, okay, how are they getting that? Because it's a big problem in baseball, I believe. Baseball's such an outcome sport. So here's a ball, get it over there as fast as you can. And you throw it and it gets there and the guy's out. And everyone goes, oh, well, he must have done it properly because he got the result. You're a pitcher, stand here and throw it into this box. And you did. Oh, well, okay, great. Must be fine. It's not until they break that we find out, oh, no, well, actually, the way you did that was terrible. So we want to try and teach them the ideals for the way the body moves beforehand, and develop the tolerance in the tissues as we're going along. So then, they perform better, but also they stay healthier.
Yeah. There's kids too are different, the way they learn, but also their different movement patterns and their coordination getting to those. You might, as you said, those 4 pitches might throw all completely different, but be the same in key points. I think kids' coordination levels sort of is a hard one as well. Getting through, say 12 to 15 might be completely different in all of those kids. That would be a challenge for you as well.
It is. It's a massive challenge, and that's for all the the talk in the professional levels about like analytics are ruining the game and this and that. Like that's why there will always be a place for coaching, because you're still managing people. In my feeling, analytics were always there. It was just that you had great managers that kind of figured it out, but they didn't have a computer to confirm it. But they're still doing it. Now it's just a bit of extra information to say, yeah, all that stuff you thought you were right. But you still got to manage people, and you've still got to convince them to do what you're asking them, or make sure that they understand it. And especially with athletes, and especially younger athletes in that bracket that you mentioned, they'll nod and smile because they're too embarrassed to speak up and say, no, actually, I don't know what language you're speaking right now. So that's part of the challenge, but it's a great part of the challenge. It's awesome trying to figure out 10 different ways to say the same thing, and then when they get it is amazing, because you can see it in their face. They get like a bump in velocity, or the ball travels further, or whatever it is, and now okay, I've got a plan, so now I can practice a plan. Whereas unfortunately, I think for too long, baseball players go out there without any particular structure or plan of their practice. They just throw and they hit, and they might do a bit of running, and then we play. And that it is very challenging to communicate those messages, because they're all growing and everything at different rates. But that's why we've got to do this. We can't just, especially in this country, I think with the growth of baseball around the world, like, looking back to when I was a kid and into my teens and stuff, and the guys that went to the big leagues, the Australian guys that went to the big leagues, Glenn Williams, Chris Oxspring, all those kind of guys, Trent Olchin, we can't just keep sitting here and assuming that big leaguers will be born in Australia, because the talent is too good now. Like, I'm not a betting man, but the odds, I would bet that the odds of another Shohei Ohtani being born in Australia, just born and kind of just figuring it out, I reckon you'd have better odds of backing 100-1 shot in the Melbourne Cup. So we have to try and build these kids and not just wait for them to be born, because they're not going to be born.
Yeah, 100%. You talked about analytics and stuff in sports. That's a really good one. Like, everything we do now is measured. Like, most of us have got, a smartwatch that tells us our heart rate and how many steps we've done, or whatever. In sports, especially baseball, you've got, all these different tools for measurement now, not just the old radar gun that used to pop up every so often. You've got it all. All sports are the same though. Like, weightlifters and powerlifters have got like the gym aware that measures their speed of their lifts, and whatever it might be. For you guys, RP Performance, what sort of tools do you use with the baseballers for your analytics and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we've got the Rapsodo, the hitting and the pitching Rapsodo, pocket radar as well. We've got the blast motion bat sensors to monitor bat speed as well, because that's a big one now. Like, we know that for the last few years, there hasn't been a single home run hit in the big leagues where the bat speed was under 70 miles an hour. So you know, if you're talking to parents or talking to kids about like, I want to go to college, I want to be a big leaguer and this and that, and they've got great contact skills and everything. If they can't swing it at 70 miles an hour, they're not going to get anywhere, because teams are going to look at it and go, well, he can't physically he can't hit a home run in the big leagues. It's fact. So we've got all of those. We've got some laser timing gates as well that we use to when we're working on the 60-yard dash and speed work from there. And yeah, they're the main ones that we've got going on at the moment.
Yeah, cool. So what are some of the programs you do with kids and stuff like that? Do you have like weekly programs, or is it in blocks? How does it work?
Yeah, so we go term by term. We've got a fundamentals program for the younger groups, sort of little league or like junior league, got kids who've never necessarily done any sort of training, whether it's with us or like any gym work or anything from there. So that's really about learning to squat and lunge and move side to side and separate your hips and your shoulders and things like that. And then we've got a secondary or an older group that's an all ages approach. So it's people that have trained with us before or have decent training experience, just physical development. Because what we're really doing now is combining strength and conditioning with baseball training. So within a session, they'll do some lifting of weights, and they'll do some med balls, and they'll do some plyo balls, and they might throw, or they might take some swings, or they might sprint and jump and hop and everything like that. So yeah, we sort of just separate them that way, and then we'll soon start launching or making one-on-one sessions available as well, where there'd be a much more detailed biomechanical focus, and for the pitches as well, it would be, okay, let's do the whole session with the Rapsodo going, work on pitch design and the types of pitches that you should best throw to get the different directions going with, and the tunneling and everything like that. So, and then similar for hitting would be, what sort of path are you taking the bat through, or maybe we work on swing decisions and swing accuracy and stuff like that. So yeah, they're one-on-one individual sessions, and then the group sessions are more about the physical development, but they're always small groups, no more than 10. So or no more than one coach per 5 person, so 5 people. So if there is 10 in the group, then we'd have 2 coaches, so that you're still getting some of that key cueing of, no, don't just do that drill, but do that drill like this.
Yeah. Oh,
Is there an age for those kids that you think is too young to be starting to do that sort of stuff, or can you sort of scale it down to those younger kids, like maybe rookie ball or something, maybe just doing more flexibility and mobility sort of things?
Yeah, physically, absolutely. They could do it then. They could do it younger. I mean, if you look at gymnastics and all those kind of bodyweight traditional type sports, athletics, all that sort of thing, they start younger than that. Like, you know, my oldest he's only 5 and he's in his 2nd season of little athletics already, and they run and they jump and they push a shot put and they throw a discus and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there would absolutely there's physical capability to do it younger than those groups. It's at the moment a bit what we touched on before around the coachability of those groups. So potentially down the line that becomes an additional step. What I'd like to do would be that part of it be more integrated with the clubs. So certification is not necessarily the right word, but like doing some education with coaches on key physical things that every human should be able to do, to squat, to lunge, to do a push-up, to crawl, and here's a way to integrate those at the start of every training session. So instead of just saying, okay, kids, let's run around the field and then we'll throw and whatever, let's do this. And it might be, let's play a game of crab soccer or something like that. And then we'll play catch, and then we'll take batting practice and things like that. So that's where I see it in the future. But at the moment, starting with the slightly older kids.
Yep. Cool.
What about for, say we got baseballers in Tamworth that obviously can't get down to you, mate. Do you have online programs for your, stuff that people can do at home?
Yep. At the moment, there's on the website already, there's a live online pitching based program. It's an 8-week program, including all the sets and reps around medicine ball stuff, plyo balls, bands, throwing program for pitchers and non-pitchers as well. And there'll be a hitting and sprinting versions up there soon as well. Because you're right, that's a big factor. And we're closer than Driveline is in Seattle, so
absolutely,
I think having that availability is important within Australia. And as I say, I believe in the physical space, we do a lot of things in Australia really, really well. So Driveline and Rapsodo and Tread and all those places are amazing. But I think there's things that we can take to another level because of the other sports that we have here and that they don't necessarily have over there, that we can integrate things from. So the pitching, the throwing aspect is live on the website, and the hitting and the running will be soon there as well.
That's awesome. Because I know, we're in Newcastle, not too far, a couple of hours down the road sort of thing, but it is hard for parents to get kids to travel that far, and, it's a big commitment with around their work and stuff like that. So it is good to have a program online as well.
Yeah.
What about you? I seen there were some college kids and that getting some work in and adding some miles per hour on their fastball, 3 to 5 mile an hour on their fastball. In some cases, that's pretty significant. Is that just through, doing these different programs with, like we talked about, all the different modalities, putting it all together, and kids can see that's a pretty sizable increase, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive, and it's usually in a pretty short space of time, 6, maybe 8 weeks for some of those kids, and it's mostly skill, if you like, and training to rotate and develop their power in a specific way, coupled with then the physical aspect of, if you start throwing medicine balls or weighted balls or something regularly, just like lifting normal weights, then you're going to get a little bit stronger, and you're going to be able to move something that's light like a baseball a little bit faster. So it's a combination of those two things. But for a lot of it, it was cleaning up how are they generating their power, and that's what I was saying before about we have to train a bit. Like, we can't just play games all the time, and because baseball's so outcome driven, like those kids are, they're college level players, they're good, they're some of our best, and yet there was, in a short space of time, a huge amount of improvement they were able to make. So if we only focused on, he's hitting 450 in first grade and he's striking everybody out, he's got a 1.5 ERA, well, we're missing a whole heap from there. And then when they get to that next level, they're not that good. Yeah. And now they're playing, and now they're not getting the playing outcomes that they were. So they're assumed to not be that good, when actually maybe it was just hiding in there still and hadn't been brought out. And it's funny to me because scouts and coaches and whatnot talk about like a 5-tool player as this amazing unicorn, but we don't necessarily put enough time and energy into developing the tools. And one of the college kids we've worked with for a while, his best tool was running, and he was, when we tested him first up, he ran I think it was a 7.1 seconds for 60 yards, and which is just above. So the big league average is about 6.9, but with some coaching on how to run a good 60 and the position of his body and how to hit the ground with his foot and stuff like that, in 6-7 weeks he got down to 6.7. So he's above big league average, and then over the next 12 months of continuing to practice it, he's gotten even lower than that. But his throwing velocity was the thing that was holding him back from getting over to college. He's super quick, so he can run anything in the world down in center field. He had decent pop off the bat, but his arm didn't. It was too far down on those tool scales, those 80-20 scales that they use. So that became the focus for him. It's in there. If you can run that fast, it's in there. The power, we've got to convert it out of the gym and into throwing, and we managed to do so. That his throwing velocity came up enough where he got an offer, and now he's over there playing, and we'll see from there. So it wasn't a matter of you got to play more, you got to you got to get more balls in center, you got to more at bats, whatever. It was purely physical, and baseball is a physical game. It's, as people always say, it's the most individual team sport there is. So yeah, we've got to develop those physical qualities and learn to play the game.
Absolutely, mate. There's plenty to talk about in this field. It really is. There's so many different tools coming out now, and different things that kids can do. I guess what's next for you, and what are you looking forward to the most with RP Performance?
Yeah, so next is continuing to help the local kids here in the Shire, especially, and try and getting those other online programs live as well, and just trying to get the word out there more via the social media platforms about RP Performance and the fact that we have an option here in Australia that can help all the kids that we've got. And yeah, we'll kind of continue to grow through the next 12 months and go from there.
Awesome, mate. Let us know where we can find you, and we'll put it in the show notes. I know you're on Instagram. What's your website as well?
Yeah, so the website is rotationalpowerperformance.com.
Beautiful.
And then, the Instagram handle is there next to my name, RP_performance. And then there's a Facebook page as well. They're the three things at the moment. But yeah, if anyone can reach out via any of those platforms, email is on the website, or direct messages through Facebook and Instagram, and we can figure out anything that we can do to help.
Absolutely awesome to have you on, mate. Damo's just chimed in. Great content tonight. Thanks, Damo. It's been great having Luke on, and we look forward to seeing bits and pieces throughout the year, mate. It's our baseball season up here in Newcastle just about to kick off, so it'd be great to get some of those kids onto one of the programs and get them firing. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The Wells boys obviously doing well from up that way, and but yeah, hopefully there's
wrong club, mate. They play for the wrong club to talk to us.
That'd be like us saying,
as in the Adelaide
Manly.
Giants, or
No, Belmont up here, mate, in Newcastle. Sorry. It's no
that's
go.
all
We're
right.
Toronto. Wrong side of the lake.
I thought
It's
the
like-
Castrians were all global greatness. No?
Uh,
Well.
Yeah, no, mate, you're right. It is
we
good to
take
see
them
them
as
doing
ours.
well.
We take them as
Yeah.
ours. They're great players, that's for sure.
Mm.
No, appreciate your time tonight, Luke, and we'll throw up your website in the show notes for those that aren't watching live and watching during the week. So really appreciate it, mate, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was great fun. Talk to you
mate.
soon.
Too
Thanks,
easy, mate.
mate.
See ya. Yeah, that was awesome content, Damo. Really good for those with sort of those young kids coming through to get on a throwing program or learning different ways that you might be able to improve in any of your sport, not just baseball, but anything that's got running, jumping, twisting, hitting, whatever it might be. You've got to be doing this sort of work. So it's great to hear.
I think I'll definitely be hitting him up. So not for me though.
For your ankle, mate, he got you right on with that ankle.
That's still cooked, that thing. No, mate. James, he's junior league now, and he's just started doing some CrossFit teams to try and build some strength.
Yeah.
So might be a much better option for him doing that sort of a program.
For sure. I know you look back. You look back, Randall, when I had the gym and we had the couple of baseball sessions that went through, and those young kids, their jumping performance increased dramatically. Their squats improved. We only did a little bit of rotational stuff, but that all improved really, really quickly. And I didn't have the knowledge that Luke has with, driveline and weighted ball programs and all these sort of things. So it is really good that we've got that in Australia, and it's just down the road there in Sydney. So,
yeah, that's it. Especially coaching some of these little league teams, especially like our local club, plus our Newcastle representative side, and then even at the moment for myself with the Division 2 State Cup team from up here. Little things that we could be implementing at training to help those kids too now early on. So. Yeah, I know I'll definitely be giving him a shout and seeing if we can get some more info.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on, mate. I can't even remember what we've got for the rest of the night. I know we've got Tid Bits first up. Davo's not with us, so we've got our Tid Bits jumping straight in. I think I'm up first, mate, tonight.
Perfect.
I am. Now this one. Zach Hyman is the first Oilers player not named McDavid or Draisaitl to score 40 goals in a season since 1990-91.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It's insane stat, that's for sure. My tidbit 2, this one is a gem. There are a million crazy baseball facts out there, but the craziest, for 20 years, every ML team schedule was made by this husband and wife duo by hand.
Wow.
That's a lot to get through.
That's insane.
I can't even fathom that, really. Like you look at how we'll do a Masters draw or that for, a Saturday or a Sunday, and you're like, oh, this team can't go here, this team can't go here. They've got 30 teams, 162 games to get through, and trying to get teams on the road and on the run. Crazy one.
That is crazy. Like you think about how long it takes to get a draw done for our local competition.
Yeah,
we've got five teams, and we still complain about it every year because how can we play this team 6 times? We only played this team 4 times, but we played that team 12 times. How hard is it?
you might have to get these 2 over, mate.
Oh, as long as they go on a chicken burger and a can of VB, they're sweet.
Pretty sure they do. What have you got for us?
Yeah, this one I saw the other day. I would have had it last week, actually. I was in nice and early for last week, but obviously you were struck with the man flu. But yeah, the Super Bowl streaker was actually a Las Vegas local who had placed 50K bet that there would be a streaker during the Super Bowl. He ran on the field by himself and cashed out with $374K and a $1,000 fine. What a champion.
Insider trading at its best.
Oh,
How good is that?
Tell you what, Pete Rose would be filthy right now.
He would be. He would be. What a gem, though.
Yes. What a thinker.
But to have the 50K to put on it, and then, what a cash out.
Not wrong. It's amazing too, isn't it? I wonder if there were questions over whether they would pay it out.
Yeah, it stung with $1,000 fine and lose your 50K.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was another good one too. I think I beat you to this one actually, Hudson. I think you had this one as well, and I somehow got one in early. Mad Bum. We all know he hit himself a few Grand Slams, but amazing that he hit more Grand Slams than Prince Fielder, who had more inside the park home runs than Ricky Henderson, who had fewer stolen bases than Babe Ruth, who had as many shutouts as Pedro Martinez. Just that, it's crazy to think.
The whole thing's just wow.
I had to read it 3 or 4 times before it made sense. And yeah, it's amazing. That's a really crazy one.
It is a crazy stat.
I don't know who came up with it, but I tell you what, they've done all right to come up with that.
Yeah, I've seen it in about 4 or 5 different formats, so it's been getting the rounds. Why we're talking about Madison Bumgarner? Apparently he's dusting the boots off, mate. He's going to make a comeback.
Yeah, I saw that. Is he?
Apparently. Who knows?
Facts on.
You got Pablo Sandoval at spring training with the Giants, mate. So why not?
No, might as well.
If he's still got it, maybe he might have been doing a bit of RP performance work at home, and he'll be primed for it, mate.
Yeah, maybe
have you been watching or listening to much of spring training?
Little bits and pieces, yeah. The first sort of few games, I was getting plenty in until MLB TV stopped allowing me to view. I don't know what's going on there, but all of a sudden I can't see any broadcasts anymore, only audio only.
Apparently there's 3 tomorrow. I did look at that.
That'll be a busy day at work then for me.
Let me see, mate. Can I share my screen?
Don't know. You're in control.
Yeah, I'm trying. So the Boston and Tigers game is televised there. Pirates, Rays, Phillies, Blue Jays, and Angels, Rangers. The rest are on the wireless.
On the wireless. All right. Nice. That's good. At least there's a couple to watch.
Yeah.
They're probably all 3 a.m., but anyway.
Nah, they've been 5 a.m.ers and 7 a.m.ers, haven't they? Most of it. Listened to a bit of the Giants today. I was back on the tools and had the wireless in, the headphones. So it was some good listening, that's for sure. Hey, NRL, mate.
Yeah.
Did you see much of the Vegas? Did you watch those games?
I did watch both those games and I enjoyed them big time. Did you catch any of them, mate?
Mate, only highlights. I didn't watch the full games.
Okay, yeah. No, I fortunately got in to watch those games. A couple of cracking games, actually. You've got up there the Broncos Roosters game, and then Manly versus Rabbitohs. So I actually took in my tips. I took Manly, a bit of an underdog, but that was a cracking game. Manly really gave it to them. But yeah, the atmosphere seemed really good from all accounts. Fans loved it. I think they had somewhere around 45,000 people or something attend.
Yeah. They didn't quite sell out, but
Well, originally they weren't going to open the top tier of the stadium because they didn't think they were going to be able to get enough people in. But yeah, they actually did open the top tier up and sell tickets up there. So that's really good, really, really good. I think it was a massive plus the whole weekend. The rest of round one continues on this week with the Mighty Knights at home. What's that, Thursday night against the Raiders? I'll be there with bells on, so I won't remember much of the game, I'm sure, as usual, but
Probably
I'll be there.
Probably not.
But yeah, your Tigers have the bye this week, mate.
Couple of points.
Yeah, it's their only points for the year until they have another bye. But good luck to them. Who else we got? We've got the Warriors versus the Sharks on Friday night over in NZ. Storm and Panthers on Friday night as well, the 8:00 game. That's going to be a cracking game, isn't it?
Will be.
Davo's Dirty Dogs are taking on the Eels on Saturday. Dragons Titans Saturday. Sunday, Dolphins v the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the early half of the weekend is going to be better, but yeah, footy's back.
He's back. Hey, Davo sent me some of the comments and that from the Americans about the NRL. There's a few classics there. One of them was something about the outback and everything's dangerous, including the NRL. They're not wearing pads and all the different things.
Yeah, so a few comments from the lady saying the players, they're heaps tougher than the NFL players and they're heaps hotter and all this sort of stuff. So I think they enjoyed it. I guess the one unfortunate thing was the racial slur, alleged racial slur between two players, which has marred it big time.
Yeah.
And obviously that's detracting from all the positive. As always, one negative. And it's been such a quiet off season with issues. I think for me it's the quietest off season I can remember in years, where there hasn't really been. There's been no one stuffing up. There's been no dickheads getting caught out doing dumb shit, basically. Yeah. And then for that to happen in the first weekend, it's pretty disappointing. But is what it is. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's been referred straight to the judiciary, and they're not going to actually hear it until I think next Tuesday or something. So there's still a full week before that even gets heard. So
okay.
We'll see what happens, but it's only going to keep getting blown up in the media, and hopefully it doesn't do either party disjustice, anything wrong. So
yeah, we'll keep us posted on that one for next week. NFL, mate, we had a retirement today. Did you see Jason Kelsey's speech?
Yeah, I did catch it.
Broke down and I guess been at the top of his game for a long time, and it's been his life. So yeah,
I did see his brother broke down too in the speech and got a bit upset.
Okay,
as well.
I didn't see anything with his brother.
Yeah, so interesting, but we knew it was going to happen. He'd already said he was going to.
Yeah,
it just confirmed. That's all, isn't it?
I think we called it at the end of the year last time we'll see him, sort of thing. But it's not going to be the last time we see him. They're going to have a great career in commentary or something in the sport for sure. You just have to listen to how they speak on their podcast. I can't remember what their podcast is called, but it's they're unreal to listen to. The Kelsey brothers.
They'll have their own ESPN segment or whatever,
like the Manning.
Like Peyton and Eli have. There'll be something very similar to that. So
for sure. What about this one? Jimmy G suspended.
Yeah, I saw this one.
Performance-enhancing substances.
Yeah, there wasn't much fucking performance being enhanced, though, was there?
No. But
Right,
how's the suspension of 2 games?
Yeah.
It's not
crazy, isn't it?
It's not a great deal, is it?
No. Obviously, it didn't enhance his performance enough to warrant a real suspension.
Yeah, probably. And this has probably been coming for many years.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, gone.
Yeah. Overpaid, wasn't he? Overrated.
Yeah. Who did he
I
play
think
for
so.
before?
Anyway.
Seattle.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, he did nothing for them. So, anyway.
No, he's just another one of those people that broke onto the scene and looked like he was going to be a good player and didn't quite live up to expectations.
Yeah.
But, people paid him big money, real big money without having those excellent performances under his belt.
Yep. Now, hey, cricket test. Have you got any info on that? Because Davo is not here to talk cricket, mate.
I did watch this test actually. Fortunately, it was starting early in the morning for us, which is, really good. Makes it easy for us. But yeah, it ended up being a bit of a blowout, to be honest. Did you catch any of it at all?
Only sort of the end of the days. I think I was on night shifts, and then
I
woke up and sort of it was just about over, basically, the whole time. So
yeah, so oh geez, I can't remember what the score. I know New Zealand won the toss and sent Australia into bat. Cam Green sort of saved the day for Australia with 170 something. Can't quite remember off the top of my head, 170 odd, to get Australia like a 380 run lead. Sorry, 380 run first inning. So they I'm just trying to remember. I feel like they were 9 down going into day 2, something like that, and might have been day 3. I can't remember. Day 2. Let's say day 2. And they batted for the whole session with 9 wickets down. So that was pretty good. And then by the end of the day, they were back into bat. They bowled New Zealand out for 179. So Nathan Lyon kicked ass as usual. He got 4 wickets. And then the second inning, Australia come out and they struggled. They limped their way along. Nathan Lyon come out as night watchman, and then finish the day on maybe 10. Next morning, come out and peeled off a quick 40 odd. So he really took the game away. I think the next highest scorer again was Cameron Green, and he only got to, I think, high 20s, early 30s. So there was a small total there, but still had a massive lead, and then bowled New Zealand out for another. It was less than 200. So
yeah, all over.
I think so Australia won by 150 odd runs.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. It was. I think most people would have expected that to be a little bit of a closer game. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure when the next one starts, but
yeah, I'm not either, mate. I thought it would be a lot closer than what it was, but anyway,
actually,
I
found it.
I got the highlights from you blokes with messages
8th of March.
Right.
The next starts.
What's that? Friday, I think.
Don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, Friday, I think.
Days.
It's all a blur for me at the moment. All a blur. But
so it's not as good as
Davo's. I do know,
Randall,
is what was that?
I was saying that wasn't as good as Davo's recap, but
Nah.
But yeah, I did see the women's IPL has started. I don't know if you saw Elise Perry actually destroying property.
Yeah.
While playing over there. So the sponsors have are an automobile company, and they had a car parked on the side, on the side of the boundary, and to show it all off. She hit a 6, and it went straight through the back driver's side window.
You're a beauty.
So I only saw it this afternoon. I was watching the back page on Fox, and it come up, and it was an absolute cracker. straight through the window.
That's awesome. You see spring training, some of the cars getting smashed at spring training.
Sure
That's
did.
awesome too.
Bit of BP.
Couple of bombs. One thing I didn't know, Randall, was 25 days. It's actually less than that now, mate. It's 24. So bring it on.
10 days till early access, mate, as well.
MLB The Show, yeah.
24, yeah. 10
All
days.
All over it. So excited for that, actually. That'll be good. I might as well announce it now. Sports Rewind Digital has got an esports channel as well on YouTube. So
Really?
MLB The Show's the only thing that it posts on there. But yeah, I'll link that up. Follow along if you want to see some home runs and some pitching ninja stuff on MLB The Show. So we might actually have to have a playoff game, Randall.
You really want to lose that bad?
What was that?
You want to lose that bad?
Mate, come on. Some exciting news today in the baseball world. This one is absolutely awesome for Sydney fans. Alex Wells coming back to the Sydney Blue Sox for the 24-25 season. Big signing for Sydney.
Yep, massive. It's really good. Another, well, you would consider homegrown. Being from Newcastle, it's about as close as you're going to get for homegrown, isn't it? So, yeah, it's good. It's great to see.
Yep.
It's good to see that he's got that hunger and a bit of love back again.
Yep.
As we know, it's well documented that he said he fell out of love a little bit with the game and whatever, and it's disappointing once he had finally got there to the show, and and that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, good luck to him.
Absolutely, and good luck to the Sydney Blue Sox. Hopefully they recruit well over the off season. What about Sean Monet? Did you see this?
Yeah, I didn't know who it was at first.
His last haircut.
Yeah,
He's
wow.
Completely different look. I love it. I might maybe grow mine out, Randall, and save it for 4 years like that. What do you think?
Whatever, Mr. Mackey.
Scullet it would be. What about these two? They still haven't found a new home.
No.
Where do you think they're going?
No. Yeah, Snell will go to the Yankees. I think we all know it. I don't know, Montgomery. I don't know.
I think he's going to the Giants, mate.
You think the Giants?
They need two starters and two more pitchers.
Well, didn't you say they got Mad Bum coming back?
Yeah.
Now look, I think we touched on this before with Snell that he's asking for too much. That's what it comes down to for not having enough consistent performances year in, year out. Injury, not being able to go long in a game or go deep in a game.
Yeah.
I think he's asking too much. Plus, what do you want? 9 years, and he's already 31. It's too much of a risk, isn't it?
Can probably throw 9 years when he only throws 5 innings a game, but
yeah,
9 years. I mean, so anyway.
Yeah, Montgomery too. He's the same. He's been hit and miss for a number of years.
Had a great season last year.
He did. You're right. He did. With Texas, but he had time there with the Yankees and whatnot, where he looked good in games, and other games he looked terrible. So it's the top level. So it's hard to judge, but it's also easy to judge.
Yeah, as a Texas Ranger, you'd want to see him back there, wouldn't you?
I think so. You'd have to ask Tex, but I'm sure he wouldn't say no either.
I thought for sure, being World Series winners, they would, try to keep as many of those players as they could, but obviously not. It's probably why we're not managers, Randall.
probably.
Seen this one. It's really good that Altuve is getting some cuts in.
Yeah, I saw this as well.
It's
looks like he's had a
quality.
growth spurt.
Yeah, I like the size of his bat he's swinging also.
Yeah.
I bet you his bat speed's over 70 miles per hour, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100% it is.
Crushed a few home runs in his time.
Yeah.
Another one I've seen, Randall. Do you see this one? I can't remember where it is in the States.
I've seen this a few times, actually.
Lefty's Haven, isn't it?
This wasn't a college ground, was it?
Yeah, it was either high school or college. I can't remember where I've seen it. But tell you what.
It's shorter than Windsor.
Toddy Nichols, Van Dyke, Boss and Mokes.
Marathon Stadium, mate.
They'd kill to have a ground like that, wouldn't they?
My word. Just reminds me of Marathon Stadium, the Hunter Eagles, with Toddy Nick hitting there.
2 second baseman.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to
backed up by Pembroke.
You wouldn't want to be left field here, Randall. You'd want your right field position, wouldn't you?
100% I would.
Push him back off the fence, run it in.
No, I'd just let the pop-ups there for the second baseman. There
Fair
wouldn't be
enough.
much running.
Fair enough. Mate, spring training is fully underway. Who have you liked so far? Is there anyone that you've liked or big standouts?
I can't get past for the team that I follow, the Orioles.
Yeah.
They're having a pretty good spring training. I think, unfortunately, Cedric left the game earlier today with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of I don't think Gunnar Henderson's done much at all yet. He hasn't. He's had some niggling injuries, but a lot of those young prospects that they've got coming through are really performing well.
Yep.
Jackson Holliday's he's doing okay.
Yeah.
But some of the other guys are the ones that are really, really having standout at bats and stuff like that. So for me, obviously, that's the main stuff that I watch or listen to. So
yeah.
What about yourself?
I've been just listening mainly to the Giants games, but caught a few Phillies games. I've caught a Yankees game. Who else have I caught? Yankees are. I'm not ruling them out this year, mate. Like, they've got a decent rotation, but I don't know. Seems to be something different there again. Soto there and Judge and Soto playing well together, and see what happens with that. But
third place, mate.
Hey?
Third place AL East.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's their rotation and bullpen. Obviously Garrett Cole is going to do what he does, but I think the rest are a little bit suspect.
Yep.
But yeah, and hitting, who knows? Soto's going to be a big change for him. Rizzo hasn't really done much the last couple of years, has he? Like, he's not the same player as he was at Chicago, or not the. Yeah. He doesn't have the same impact as what he was when he was at the Cubs. Stanton lost. He looks like he's trimmed up a whole heap. I don't know if you've seen photos of him. So who knows what's going to happen there? Judge healthy all year. He's always going to be pretty big. And then I suppose you've got those young guys, Volpe and Dominguez or whoever coming up.
Yeah.
Depends what happens with them, I guess, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does.
And, obviously they were way below par last year.
Yeah.
And I feel that it'll be their pitching that'll let them down.
Yeah, I think we might see a few more wins from them this year with their rotation. I actually like their rotation, but we've seen today Wheeler got an extension with the Phils through to 27. I think he's got signed a 3-year deal, which is really good. Phillies are going to be strong again. It's the same as Atlanta. But did you see Ronald Acuna Jr.'s done something to his knee again?
Yeah, I did see that the other day. He came out of a game, but I haven't heard any reports since. But the initial report that it wasn't an overly large concern.
Yeah.
And then he should be right for opening day. But
yeah,
I haven't
about
heard
it.
anything.
They're saying something more about it today, that he's should be good for opening day, but they're not 100% sure on it. So,
well,
I don't know. It'll change the way he plays the game.
Well, yeah. What's that? 2 knee injuries in 3 years or something?
Yeah. Coming off that 70-40 year, it's that'll be a massive change.
Just trying to remember. He played last year, the season
It's
before.
2019, I think, that he had his other knee injury, was it? Or was it 20?
ACL? I'm pretty sure he played last year and missed the year before.
Yeah, can't remember.
Maybe. I can't remember either. James isn't home to ask, so.
Fair enough.
School camp.
Fair enough.
He'd know for sure.
Mate, I can't go without saying my Giants are looking pretty red hot this year. They've signed some pretty impressive players, I guess, throughout the off season. I'm loving it. Chapman was a good one. Obviously, the team has got different. They've had 2 or 3 different third basemen playing bits and pieces, so it's great that he's going to get the role as the number one there, and
that everyday third baseman.
And his bat, I mean, that's going to be massive for it. So with him and Soler in the team as well, so it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what happens.
Where do they finish then in the NL West? Pretty tough division.
Yeah, it is a tough division, and I think they'll come in behind the billionaires. So see what happens.
So you reckon second place?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Where do you reckon they'll come, Randall?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate.
I reckon they'll fit right in there. They've and they weren't far off it last year.
I honestly don't think they'll finish. They won't finish first. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. But
bloody, LA of their. You look at that team. If they don't finish first, they have underachieved.
Absolutely.
If they don't have 100, if they don't have a 100-win season, they've underachieved.
Yeah. And well, you know what? They've had a 100-win season for 4 years in a row, and last year didn't do anything else.
Yeah, true. No, same as Baltimore, 101 wins or whatever, and got swept in the playoffs. So I guess it happens. But what do you think? What are the Padres going to do?
Not a lot, I don't think.
No, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at their team or anything, but
I know they've lost a few, but they haven't gained a great deal. That's for sure. They've got Jackson Merrill have put in the center field, I think. Let me find what they've got, what they've done. Let's have a look at their projected opening day roster. I'll share the screen, mate. 1 sec. Catcher. Yeah, we'll skim past that. Nothing to be seen there. Infield, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Kim, Manny Machado, Rosario, Graham Pauly. So some great infielders there, obviously. What did they lose though? They lost some pitching, didn't they? Let's have a look at their rotation. Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Michael King, Brito, and Vasquez. So pretty decent rotation still. I don't know. They didn't do much last year as a team. So I think the Giants have gone well in signing what they have. So time will tell what they'll do. But
yeah,
for me, the Dodgers will be at the top. The Giants, I don't think the D-backs will be too far behind. I think the biggest one for the Giants will be the D-backs and Padres, and then the Rockies. So
yeah. So you don't think the D-backs will be up there?
Maybe. Who knows? They should be. They didn't have like last year's season. They got to the World Series, and what was their record? 80 and
yeah, it wasn't great
or something. Yeah,
it was good enough, but
good enough to get there, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah,
so,
will they have a World Series hangover? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe next week we can go through the divisions and give our predictions.
Yeah, when Davo's back.
Might be a good one to talk about. Let's get out of here for tonight, mate. And thanks for those that have tuned in and tuning in at a later date. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.